Are you tired of endless dieting and barely losing a pound since you hit menopause? Well, that's because most plans don't take into account how your body's changed since you've hit menopause. So in this video, I'm going to show you why it feels so tough and what you can do about it to start losing fat instantly in a matter of weeks. And a surprising breakthrough that I have discovered, and it's the secret to my success with over 13,000 women. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal and I am the CEO of Body by Bikini, and I've helped over 13,000 women transform their bodies even though they were going through menopause. And one of the biggest problems that women come to me about is they say, help, I'm like doing everything, I'm like working out and I'm eating right, but I still can't lose weight. And then because of that, I end up falling off track and like not being consistent because I get despondent that nothing's working. Does that sound like you? Well, this video's for you then. I'm going to cover the 3 biggest mistakes, the kind of reasons that you fail. Let's talk about reason number 1, but first of all, let's hear from Sandrea. Now, Sandrea is actually on my program, and I met her in Battersea Park in London, of all places, recently because we had a meetup. And she's been doing my program for 2 weeks, and this is what she said.
So I've done 2 weeks. No, this is week 2 of the first bit. And the belly fat is like melted, gone. I can't believe it.
I'm recording this.
I'm 61, Melissa.
Oh wow, you
gone
look
through
amazing.
Menopause.
Yeah.
I'm in a, I'm sometimes I'm working, sometimes I'm not. It's the stress of life and all of that. I can fit back in my lovely button-up Ralph Lauren dress that I haven't been able to button up for 5 years.
Oh, well
And
done,
it's
Sandrea.
just because it's a different way of eating. And I'm gonna hold my hand up. I haven't stepped in the gym yet, but I will. I am gonna do that because I haven't done weight training for years, but I will do that because I need the strength. But just the fact that my belly I can literally, you know when your belly is out here, you can't even, you know what I mean? It's like, and you struggle to even do your toenails, You always have to go and do pedicure because you can't lean over the belly. Yeah, really.
So we get a lot of
I cannot believe it.
So you can see, even though she wasn't working out, just by eating correctly for 2 weeks, she said she completely lost her belly fat. And this was down to the nutrition that I'm going to show you now, so you can do this for yourself. So what was Sandrea doing right? Well, I'm going to tell you some of the things she wasn't doing. She wasn't intermittent fasting. She wasn't starving. She wasn't doing low carb or keto even. What she was doing was high protein eating and fueling her body correctly, even though she wasn't actually working out. Fueling her body correctly so you don't feel hungry, you don't get tired through the day. And in my experience, most diets do not address the fact that as a menopausal woman, your metabolism has deteriorated, your metabolism has slowed down, and you need to eat in a way that speeds your metabolism up. So that means taking in a large amount of protein, and Sandrea was taking in over 140 grams of protein per day. And what does protein do? Protein helps your body burn fat. It boosts your metabolism because it takes your body longer to break down protein than it does carbs and fats. Protein also helps you build muscle mass and retain muscle mass which is the thing that is going to boost your metabolism as well. And protein keeps you full and satisfied for a long time, so you don't feel like snacking through the day. And that's what Sandrea experienced. She wasn't at all hungry. So what was she exactly eating? Well, let's run through a typical day for her, and I'm going to show it on the screen. Breakfast, she had protes or protein and oats with berries. Lunch, she had a simple dish of either chicken or tofu mixed with vegetables, and she could also have rice. And she was really astonished that she could have rice and still lose weight, because as I said, we don't do keto, we don't do low carb, so we do actually eat carbs. And she had that with red beans and salad, so that was really satisfying. Then her evening meal consisted of some kind of grilled oily fish, maybe salmon, to get in those good healthy fats, and it's also anti-inflammatory. And she had veggies or salad on the side. And we also incorporated some lentils for extra protein, but also lentils have carbohydrate in them. And for snacks, she either had a banana and cottage cheese, or she had a protein smoothie with berries. It's as simple as that. And what she was doing was carefully weighing and measuring her food so she got her macronutrient content right. That means your balance of your protein, so the protein was high, carbohydrates and fats. So she was approximately getting, as I said, 140 grams of protein, 150 grams of carbs and 50 grams of fats. So as you can see, we're not skimping on carbohydrates, because when Sandrea starts to do the weightlifting as part of what we do, then you need enough energy to give you performance in the gym or your home gym. And so skipping carbohydrates is actually not great for building muscle mass, which is exactly what we want to do when we're over 40. We want to build muscle mass because muscle is the thing that's going to help us burn calories. And as you can see, it's worked for a number of women, 13,000 and more to be precise, to actually get that kind of result. So trust me, this stuff works. It's not just me saying it, it's my clients saying it. When you get your nutrition right, you can get incredible results regardless of whether you've implemented the exercise. But if you want to 10x your results, listen up now, because I'm going to tell you what exactly you shouldn't be doing when it comes to exercise and how to fix it. One of the biggest mistakes that women make at around the time of menopause, and the reason they failed, and I did this, is they feel like the exercise is not working, so they increase it and they do more and more and more. And that really doesn't do us any favours when we get to a certain stage in life if it's a specific type of exercise. And what I'm talking about is going to be described in this video. So let's hear from Chanel, who's one of my clients.
Hey everybody, my name is Chanel and I'm 50 years old, and I'm excited to tell you about the last 8 weeks of my life. So I've had 3 spine surgeries, including 1 spinal fusion. So chronic pain is something I've had to contend with for years, not just in my back, but my hips, my knees, my neck, my sciatic nerves. So years ago, running used to be my passion. Used to be a big runner. It was my stress relief as a single mom, as a nurse. And so once I hit the perimenopause phase of life, the combination of the low energy, brain fog, fatigue, and weight gain, it all really hit me hard emotionally. And all of these things combined just completely took the wind out of my sail. So running became a thing of the past, and I really struggled to find a new stress relief for myself. Needless to say, this took a huge toll on my self-esteem and my mental health and my overall performance in life in general. So several months ago, I stumbled upon Melissa's program and her YouTube channel, and I was immediately locked into her story and her understanding of the struggle of being a middle-aged woman with a strong desire to overcome the odds of this season of life. I became laser focused on not only the transformation of my body, but the transformation of my mind and my attitude overall toward life. The discipline I started to gain through the program carried over into multiple areas of life, at home and in my career. Both my coworkers and my family started to notice the change, and I was blown away by how many internal and external transformations that I was having were impacting everyone around me. Many of them, including my own teenage daughters, my husband, my 71-year-old mom, they've all been asking me to help them find a plan for them.
Chanel's big mistake is she was relying too much on her old method of exercise, which was running and long distance running. So any kind of endurance training, what that's going to do is going to really mess with your metabolism. So if you do more and more endurance training, specifically if it's around over 30 minutes per session, you're going to find you have less and less muscle on your body. But not only that, when you reach over the age of 40, you're losing muscle at a rate of 1% per year. So by the time you get to sort of my age, I'm 58, I would have lost maybe 15 to 20% of my muscle mass by now, and that's quite significant. So if I do endurance training, which is exactly what I was doing, I was actually doing endurance training and my muscle was depleting even more. And we don't want that. We want to increase our muscle mass. And so what happens when you do endurance training, this is what happens to your body. It's like taking a set of bricks and removing more and more bricks, so the wall is just not standing anymore. And that's what happens to your body. You're removing, if you're doing endurance training, plus you're not doing anything to build your muscle back up, so you're losing muscle anyway at a rate of 1% per year, you're removing those building blocks from your wall, so there's nothing left to support your body. And your body's going to just build fat. And that's the problem with endurance training. If you've learned nothing else from this video, do not rely on long distance running, endurance training anymore, but instead, just like Chanel did in my program and saw these amazing results, you've got to lean into strength training and building your muscle up. So what strength training is doing is putting logs on your metabolism fire, and the fire is going to burn hotter, it's going to burn stronger, and that's what's going to happen to your metabolism if you do strength training, in other words lifting weights. And I recommend you do 3 or 4 times a week and you go heavy. Women say to me, oh, I don't want to get bulky. It's literally impossible to get bulky if you reach over the age of 40. Because nature means your muscle's depleting. So all you're doing is you're putting back on what you've lost through the aging process. And you're going to get toned, you're going to get defined. You're not going to get bulky. The women that you see bulky, generally they're stage competitors who are taking performance enhancing drugs. And that's how they've got like that. It's literally impossible. You'd be lucky if you put on any amount of significant amount of muscle. It's just not going to happen. So we've talked about nutrition, we've talked about strength training, but that's not all, because I'm going to talk about the biggest reason that 90% of women going through menopause actually fail when it comes to fat loss.
Hi guys, I went from 180.7 pounds to 162.4 pounds in body fat weight, and I went from 37.5 inches in my waist to 29.5 inches in my waist. That's 18.4 pounds lost in general, and then 8 pounds or I'm sorry, 8 inches off my waist. My original why was I wanted to be pain free, no more pain in my feet, my legs, my knees, all of that. And then secondly, I wanted to be able to walk in a store and buy any kind of clothing that I wanted to buy without feeling insecure or self conscious. But what I realized is those were great whys, and they still are like the icing on the cake. But I went from outcome based whys to be more in the present. So I went from like, what can I have in the future to, ooh, I wonder how many jump squats I can do in a row without stopping, or how many push-ups can I do without having to take a break, or oh my gosh, how much weight can I do today? Because I've been increasing the weight in whatever exercise progressively over the week. So it became more, instead of the future, it became just about the present. And then lastly, I would say there's that term mindset. And you'll hear that term a lot. You got to have the right mindset, which I thought I already had. But with this program and the tools, and slowly working along, I'd say about the third or the fourth week, I went from, oh, I totally had a mind shift. And that mind shift was no longer being a victim of menopause, but being a fit, resilient, strong person that can kick menopause in the teeth. And I love it. So those are the 3 changes that I made, and I'm so thankful. Thank you, everybody.
Stephanie there, she harnessed the power of mindset to remain consistent. And that is often what is going wrong with women at this stage in life, because what they're finding is their tried and tested methods don't work, and so they lose hope and don't remain consistent. But I promise you, if you're sticking to your high protein eating properly and you're doing the lifting weights, it will work. But you do need to remain consistent to see results. So don't give up, don't feel defeated. Keep going with it, because if you're doing this right, it is going to work. And the only difference between someone like you, if you are consistent, and me, who's consistent, and Stephanie there that's consistent, is we're following the right process, but we also have a consistent mindset. But how do you get a consistent mindset? I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process that you can start implementing today and watch right until the end, because you're going to discover a way that you can get help with this implementation. So grab a paper and pen and learn the secret that I have shared with over 13,000 women that I've worked with to transform their body. And this stuff is powerful. It really works. Number 1, find your strong reason why. Why do you want to do this? The reason I wanted to do it in the early days was because I wanted to get on stage in a sparkly bikini. But now, my strong reason why is I want longevity. I want to live a really long and healthy life. But you find your strong reason why. Maybe you want to wear the jeans in the back of your closet. Maybe you want to wear swimwear again. Find your strong reason why and write it down. Number 2, look at your schedule. You need to schedule it in like your life depended on it. You need to treat it like a profession, a business, or maybe, you've got kids where you have to calendar all their activities in. It's that serious. You have to really take it seriously and put it into your schedule. Put your meal prep into your schedule. Put your workouts into your schedule. This is, from now on, it's your top priority. 3, don't try to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm sure Stephanie in that video isn't perfect all the time. If you're doing this 80% of the time, you are going to see a result. So it's about consistency over time. And if you fall off and something goes wrong, pick yourself back up and keep going. You don't have to be 100% perfect, but what you do need to do is do it 80% of the time over a long period of time. Number 4, plan for your hormonal fluctuations. You might have a day where your energy levels are low, or your menstrual cycle, and you're feeling really rough. Plan for that and maybe work out the next day when you're feeling better. Number 5, use the power of 10 minutes. If you're not feeling like doing something today, just tell yourself, I'll just do 10 minutes. Psychologically, that's much easier than saying, oh, I've got to do 45 minutes or an hour. And 9 times out of 10, once you start, maybe it's a workout, maybe it's prepping your food, once you've got into it, you'll be able to find that you can do more than 10 minutes, but just promise yourself 10 minutes. Number 6, prep up your meals ahead. This is massive and it can make you so successful. So maybe spend 2 days a week, a Sunday and a Wednesday, prepping all your food. So you've got your lunches, maybe your evening meals, even your breakfasts if you're really busy, prepped up in advance. That is going to make a huge difference. Number 7, stay accountable. Have an accountability partner, maybe a coach. And I'm going to tell you how you can work with me as your coach right at the end. But have someone like your partner, anybody that you're accountable to. Number 8, track your progress other than the scale. So many women that rely on scale weight and they say, well, I've got on the scale, but the scale's not moving, but you know, all my clothes are looser. Well, if your clothes are looser, you've made progress. So it's not all about the scale. Are you getting stronger? Are you getting fitter? Do you feel better? Do you have more energy? All of those things mean that you're making progress. So don't just rely on the scale. It's one measure out of loads of different measures that actually can measure and track your success. Number 9, set micro goals. So what does that mean? Well, you've got your overall goal, which was your strong reason why, but have some mini goals as well. So rather than saying, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds, say, I need to achieve 3 workouts per week. That is a process goal, and focusing on that will be much better for your mindset than focusing on the 20 pounds. If you implement these 9 things and you are following the nutrition and exercise that I've talked about earlier in this video, you are going to be much more likely to see success. But if you feel like you need help from somebody to make yourself accountable, do click the link below and find out how you can work with me or work with somebody in my team to get you the result that you've always craved for and stop all this failure. If you work with a coach, you're much more likely to see success and see success really quickly.